let's go to some of the stories you have picked for us this morning, and obviously reflect your own interests when it comes to self-help and the podcast that you create. You've gone for a story in the Independent: 6 ways to protect your mental health when going to university. A lot of kids will be headed off in that direction.
Yeah, it's a really well timed article, obviously, and it actually gives some good advice. Phil, I'm quite chuffed with this article because it isn't very gentle things. It is proper advice around stuff students can do, such as exercise and challenging themselves, and most importantly, connecting with others. You know, one of the reasons we can struggle with our mental health is that we isolate ourselves, and it becomes an ever decreasing circle of self-isolation, feeling bad, self-isolation, feeling bad. But my point with this article, because it is useful, is that we need to be teaching our kids this early doors, not when they go to university and they feel bad. It's a bit like teaching our kids to swim. You know, we don't not teach them to swim, send them to university, and then when they go in the pool, stand on the side and start trying to teach them the breaststroke while they're drowning. It just isn't going to work. And so I have a really big thing around this needs to be in schools as early as possible, and not just a nod to so-called mindfulness, whatever that is nowadays, but proper ways to deal with our feelings, ways to, as I said, understanding what connection is, understanding what self-care is, understanding how much giving to others and working with others and for others helps our mental health. It's a really good article.
Have a look at it. It's in the Independent this morning. In the Daily Mail, you've picked out, I think this is a really interesting article, Britain's barefaced beauty queens. This is the idea that attitudes towards women and makeup are changing, and it's not necessarily the high profile world leaders that are leading the charge on this.
Yeah, this is a great article. Elle Celine, she's basically competing in Miss Great Britain makeupless, so wearing no makeup. A little bit embarrassed that in this day and age, this is the first time. I was reading it thinking, surely this has happened before, that women haven't worn makeup. But really, her quote is, "We don't owe anybody pretty." So showing really how far we're coming, I think, with understanding that acceptance and connection with others comes with acceptance and connection with ourselves, and understanding that makeup is a choice. It's a choice for men and women. So anyone who chooses to wear it, chooses to wear it, and who chooses not to wear it, chooses not to wear it. And that's it. You know, if we're going to sit in judgment of ourselves and judgment of others over some stuff we put on our face, I think we probably need to rethink how we're connecting with others and what that actually means, connecting with their personality and their compassion and their kindness.
And certainly it's an area of inequality. We don't expect guys to try and put foundation on or concealer to cover up the bags or whatever. If we've
but then we judge guys for wearing it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Daily
Total
Mail.
Choice.
We're going to have a look in the female section of the Daily Mail this morning. Now, from gong baths to mindful drinking, this is a piece in The Guardian you picked. It's how to really unwind whilst doing a staycation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, apparently, Phil, that going on holiday in the UK is 4 times more expensive this year than in 2019. Wow. Understandably, there's more demand. People are making up their income. There's no judgment on that at all. But it means that more and more people are basically taking their holiday genuinely at home. And it's coming up with all these tips because mainly when we live in our homes, we've got all our stressors there. We've got our computers and our work, and we've got our kids, if you like, and the vacuuming. And this is a way of looking at how can you make this really relaxing. And one of them is looking for gong baths or sound baths. I'm big on sound baths in your area. But yoga and mindful drinking, which is really a posh way of saying sip slowly. And possibly alcohol free. I'm not sure how that will go down with everybody, but it's like mindful drinking is sip slowly. But it sounds very relaxing.
And it means that you concentrate the mind on the actual liquid in your mouth. Maybe run it around your mouth, and while you're thinking about that and having that thought, you're not having negative thoughts, I suppose. And I suppose that's how mindful drinking plays out, isn't it? But
yes, well, concentrating on what is.
Yes. Daily Express, finally. Finally, this is it's one of the weird and wonderful stories that the newspapers love to pick up on when we see deformed food, I think, is the only way I can really describe stories like this. This is a man who's discovered the longest hula hoop ever.
A man discovers his longest hula hoop ever and says it's his biggest achievement. So I just let that one hang there, Phil. It's just like, well, okay. This is a guy, Sam Lightfoot, and he was eating a pack of hula hoops and he discovered a 4-inch long hula hoop. But there's just so much wrong with this article. First of all, it's a big headline and it makes it sound like he was on some kind of North Pole expedition finding this hula hoop. And then it says, fine, firstly, it beats the previous record of 3.7 inches. There's actually a record of hula hoop finding, which I find disturbing. And then he says it's his biggest achievement. And I suppose my point is to encourage him to aim higher.
Yes.
You know, that's the biggest achievement. You know, at least go for Monster Munch. Just like
Very good, Jenny.
Good old Sam.
Appreciate it. Any plans for the bank holiday?
I'm hoping it's going to be sunny and we can go to the pub. That would be lovely.
The good news is it is. Certainly Saturday and Sunday looking good. So enjoy that, won't you? And good to hear from you again. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Phil.
Jenny Critchlow, self-help expert, the Peace Gym podcast based in Claverton in Warwickshire. Her view on the newspapers this morning is 7:50.
You can be an EastEnder